something for you to look at today. Something called my narcissistic bitch.
Mercenaries Saga Chronicles is a tactical role-playing game. The game is really just 3 games merged into one: Mercenaries Saga Will of the White Lions, Mercenaries Saga 2 Order of the Silver Eagle, and Mercenaries Saga 3 Grey Wolves of War. It's pretty clever, merging 3 games in one for the price of one, you know.
Just rope it to beat. Whatever. Oh, sorry.
The gameplay and storyline in Mercenaries Saga Chronicles is not too engaging. You're not going to get that amazing storyline with a protagonist and an antagonist and some conflict resolution and really in-depth story. You're not going to get that with this game. You're going to get a very linear story, pretty straightforward. Bad guy, good guy gets a team, finds out where the bad guy is and tracks him down and gets the magical jewel or princess. One of those resolutions. Not going to win an Oscar, but it's not going to be the worst game you'll ever play. In terms of gameplay, Mercenaries Saga Chronicles follows a very similar playstyle to other games of this genre. You'll follow a linear story, bump into a bad guy, place your units on the field, and take turns with the AI until you beat up the bad guy. The only choices you make are where to put your units on the map. You'll have no say in how the storyline unfolds or what characters say to questions asked by the bad guys. The combat in Mercenaries Saga Chronicles is pretty typical for a strategy turn-based tactical RPG. Think Final Fantasy Tactics, but not as good. You'll take turns with enemy AI, use spells, move, attack, use a skill, use an item, or you can change your equipment mid-battle. Or you can choose to wait and do nothing. I wouldn't recommend that because you'll end up dying, and that's not good. Each battle takes place on a 4x4 grid map, and your units, depending on their positioning, will either have an advantage on a hit or a disadvantage. Typically best to strike your opponents from behind, as you'll get a small advantage in damage and accuracy, and if you are archer or spellcaster, high ground is always preferable. Your warrior characters you generally want to keep on the front end to cover your more squishy casters and rangers, and try to surround your enemies from each side so that they, for one, can't escape, and 2, every time they attack you, most of your warrior classes will be able to hit them back and do significant damage.
Yes, I remember.
The design of this game really does fall short in a lot of areas. The 2D graphics are not great, the animations are okay, and the maps themselves aren't artistically outstanding. You can engage with some objects such as treasure chests or boxes or some of these diamonds that just explode when you hit them, but the design of this game is quite lacking. Some of the character designs are pretty cool, some of the bosses are quite cool, but overall in general the game's design is lacking in a lot of areas. Having said that, if you're used to the Game Boy and Nintendo DS, the old school games, this game is going to look absolutely fantastic to you.
Watch it there, brother.
By the gods, you're a man.
From the outside, the character customization actually looks pretty unique, with lots of options of classes, styles of play, spells to use, and skill trees that you can actually choose from. But when you actually look at how these classes break down, it's a little bit deceiving. For example, you do have a skill tree. You have an initial basic character, you can then choose from one of 2 separate subclasses, and from there you can specialize into usually some sort of melee or spellcaster type. Now, as you get further along into the game, you can unlock all of the classes, so essentially no matter which class your character actually is, you can use all the spells from all of the classes that you've unlocked, essentially making it pointless to even choose a class because you're just going to end up with all the spells anyway. Having said that, there are lots of different classes to choose from, and you can select your party based on whatever skills, classes and party members you enjoy playing with the most. So if you like spellcasters, you can put a lot of spellcasters in your party. If you like warriors, fill it up with warriors, and if you like to play like a coward and shoot from range, you can also set up your team to do that. If you enjoyed listening to that sound effect and the music, then you're in for a treat, because this game hosts a variety of retro, Nintendo DS, Game Boy, Final Fantasy Tactics-esque music and sound effects. If that's your thing, you're gonna love this game's sound and music. If not, you should probably stop the video here and move along, because you'll be hearing these songs in your sleep, in your nightmares, and in your dreams, because of the repetitive nature of the songs.
Of course, my guy.
If you're a fan of tactical turn-based strategy RPGs like me, this game might be a good buy for you. However, don't expect a Final Fantasy Tactics type of story, you're not going to get that here, but it is a good play nonetheless. Currently, you can pick up Mercenaries Saga Chronicles for around £13–15, somewhere around there, in the Nintendo eShop. Overall, I give this game a good solid 5 out of 10. Not bad, but not the best strategy role-playing tactical RPG you're ever going to play.
Wow.
Yes.
This would be like the biggest diarrhea in the history of mankind.
Absolutely.
Wow.